single node multi-drive minio instance in a Docker environment. That's what we're going to see in this video. If you want to learn more, stick with me. Hello and what's up guys, Medium Guy here, and in this video we're going to see how to deploy a minio instance as a Docker container with the single node multi-drive architecture. So right before I jump to this video, if you haven't watched the previous videos in this playlist about minio, I just recommend you watch them, where you can learn about how to implement site replication and many more cool stuff. So without any delay, let's get down to work. So first of all, I've got the minio official documentation about single node multi-drive deployment architecture, so you can always check this link in order to gain more information about what we're going to do in this video. So basically, in a real-world example, we're going to have multiple hard drives that are attached to the server, and actually it is recommended to directly attach those hard drives, and as its best practices, minio recommends to have the same type of the drives attached to the server and provided to the minio instances. Like for example, you can have 2 or 3 directly attached SSD or NVMe drives that is provided directly to the minio instance, and actually does not have any kind of magic, like for example implementing RAID or LVM or any other stuff on the drives. So basically minio can handle all the replication and stuff, and actually no external configuration is actually needed to be performed on the hard drives. And as another best practice point, minio recommends to use the exact same size for the drives that we provide to minio instance. Like for example, we can provide 2 hard drives that are 6 terabytes or 12 terabytes, and in a scenario that we have one 6 terabytes and one 12 terabytes, minio will actually set the maximum size of the available volumes to the minimum hard drive that is provided to it, which in our example will be the 6 terabytes. So actually there are other best practices information on this page, and if you really want to use this in a production level, I actually recommend you read all these documentations over here. So in a schematic way, I have created a diagram over here where we can have a total overview of the thing that we're going to actually implement in this video. So as we can see over here, we've got one instance of minio that has 3 volumes that are provided to it, and actually the volumes are backed up with totally different hard drives. So basically minio will actually handle the replication when we want to write new objects or delete or make any changes to all the volumes that are provided to it. And of course, if we lose one of our drives, we can simply replace it, and also minio will handle the data retention on that newly replaced drive also. And lastly, we've got our client applications connected to our one instance of minio. So in order to see this in action, I'm going to move to the VS Code over here, in which you can see that I've got a dockercompose file on my GitHub repository on the minio directory. So actually I'll put all the files and configurations in my GitHub repository, and you can find the link down in the description section. So right over here you can see that I've got only one service that will actually deploy a minio instance using the official minio image with a random tag that I copied from the Docker Hub page. So on the port section over here you can see that I've mapped 2 ports from my machine to inside the container, one being 9000 and the other 9001. So basically the first one will be the port of the API server, and the second one the user interface that we can actually access through the web browser. So right over here on the volume section you can see that I've got 3 data directories mapped to the relevant directories inside the container. So basically in a real world example, I should actually pass the real address that I've mounted my hard drives and map those directories to inside the container with relevant names. And as the last volume over here, I've got a .env file mapped to /etc/config.env file inside the container. The first one being the minio volumes, that actually defines the provided directories to the minio instance. So actually I've set the value to /data-1 ... 3. So basically this is exactly the same thing that I've defined over here, and actually this value over here will be actually interpreted to data-1, data-2 and data-3. And next on the .m file, I've got the root username and root password. So basically I'll be able to actually use these credentials to log into the web user interface, or define on my applications to use these credentials to actually interact with this minio instance. So going back to the dockercompose file over here, on the environment variables of this service, I've got the minio config m file that I've addressed the exact same thing that I've mapped the .m file to inside the container. And over here on the command section, I've defined the exact command to be run when the container gets up and running. And lastly over here, I've set the restart policy to always. So basically for any reason that this container gets destroyed, the Docker daemon will ensure to recreate this container. So in order to test this out, I'm going to actually move to the terminal, and I'll hit ls to make sure I'm in the exact same directory that I've got my .m file and dockercompose file. So actually by hitting dockercompose up-d, I should actually be able to see that a container has been created and also a network has been created attaching to that newly created container. So by saying dockercompose ps, I should be able to see the containers that have been created by this dockercompose file that exists on my current directory, and as a result I can see that I've got one instance of minio with state up, and the exact same ports that I've mapped to inside the container are successfully shown over here. Also by saying dockercompose logs -f to follow the logs, and --tail 100 to actually grab the latest 100 lines of the logs that have been outputted by the containers of this dockercompose file. So as a result, I can see that the logs are successfully outputted over here, and actually it is saying that the S3 API server is listening on the port 9000 and the console is available on the port 9001. So right now I'm going to switch to the browser, and I'll go to the localhost port 9001, and if I put my credentials over here, I'll hit login, and right now I am inside the web interface. So over here, if I go to the monitoring section on the metrics, as we can see over here on the drive section, I can see that I've got 3 drives that are actually online, and if I move down over here, I can see the state of those drives. So right now the thing that I'll do is go to the bucket section, and over here I'll hit create bucket. I'll put a name, and if I hit create bucket, I can see that the bucket has been created successfully. And right now if I go back to the terminal, I'll hit Ctrl+C to exit out of the logs, and if I hit ls-la, I can see that 3 directories have been created over here, and if I hit ls-la data-star, I should be able to see the files and directories inside each of these data directories. So over here I can make sure that the first directory has been created successfully in each of the data directories that are mapped to the inside the container. So right now I'll move back to the admin UI over here, and on the object browser I'm going to select my first bucket that I created, and actually I'm going to upload some files to this bucket. So I've selected my files, and over here I can see that the files have been uploaded to the minio server. And if I go back to the terminal over here, I'll hit ls-la data-star /first to actually list the files and directories inside the first directory, and as a result I can see that both files that I uploaded to the minio server are actually replicated to each of the data directories. So if I say the u-h, and I'll say --max-depth equals to 1, and I'll pass the // if I hit enter, I can actually see the size of each data directory, and as a result I can see that all of them are exactly the same size. So as the last point, I'm actually going to remove one of the data directories and see how I can actually restore the data on a newly created data directory. So I'll go back to the terminal over here. I'll say rm-rf data-1. I'll hit enter and I get permission errors. And if I say sudo in the beginning, I'll hit enter. If I say ls-la, I can actually see that the data-1 directory that was mapped to the inside the container as one of the drives is now removed from the file system. And if I go back to the web UI over here, I'll hit refresh. I can actually see that my both files exist over here. And like for example, if I select one of them and hit download, I can actually see that the file has been successfully downloaded to my local machine. So basically minio can actually detect that one of the drives has been failed and actually will retrieve the file from the other two drives. So how we can actually restore the data-1 directory, I'll go back to the terminal, I'll hit ls-la, and simply if I restart the minio container, it will automatically detect that one of the drives has been failed and actually will try to restore the data on the initial setup. So I'll say dockercompose down and dockercompose up-d. So basically the minio container gets destroyed and removed and recreated again. And if I hit ls-la, I can see that the data-1 directory has been created. And if I move inside that directory, I'll hit ls, I can see my bucket directory. And if I cd into that directory again, I'll hit ls and I can see my both files recreated over here. So basically it is as easy as restarting the minio container. So that's all for this video. I hope you learned something new in this one, and actually this is a cool feature that comes with the minio out of the box. So if you have one server and you want to deploy minio on that, you can actually mount different drives to different directories in your operating system and actually mount those directories to inside the container on the defined paths on the .m file, and actually minio will handle the rest and you don't actually need to do any other stuff on the replication, data restoring and any other thing. So if you have any questions, any recommendations, you can always ask me in the comment section down below, and also don't forget to watch the other episodes on this video series dedicated to minio, where you can learn a lot of cool features that is provided with minio official image. So if you found the content useful, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, which will really motivate me to create more free content like this. So lastly, that's all for this video, and I hope to see you in the next video.